Okay, yesterday we discussed about array. We started learning about arrays in JavaScript, and already few points all explained. So what are the points? Arrays are used for, what is the purpose of array? Arrays are used for reducing overhead and complexity. So reduce overhead and complexity, right? And array can handle various types of values. Array size can be changed dynamically. I already showed you that point. Then in other technologies, why people call arrays similar type values? That reason also we discuss it, because the restriction of the technology will not allow to handle different types. So those are basic things. Now what we have to learn is, how do we declare and initialize? Declaring array. Declaring array is same like declaring variable, general variable. That means it is same like declaring any another variable. It is same like declaring any another variable. That means what we do, where we will define array name. That's it. Because already we learned that this is called declaration. Arrays are declared like this only. There is no special. But very important, array declaration, array must initialize or assign with, must initialize or assign memory, must be initialized or assigned with memory. This is very important. Array declaration is not enough. Array must be initialized or assigned with memory. That means this is declaring array, finish. But it will not work like array, because general variables also declared like this only. How to make it work like array? For that, we have to initialize. Initialize means where array name is equal to initialize memory. By using two techniques, we can use square brace. This is for initializing array. Or you can also use array name new array. Memory for array is initialized in two ways. By using meta character, by constructor, that is called array constructor. What is difference is, array constructor allows you to mention size also. How much? 2 or 3 or 4. But size can be changed dynamically. That's our wish. But extra it will allow to define size. So array can be declared, and declaring is not enough. Array must be initialized with memory. You have to use meta character or new constructor. This is initializing. Assignment means where array name, after that array name is equal to this. This is not initializing, this is assigning. Or you can say array name is equal to new array. That means first you declared, after that assign. Or while declaring itself, initialize. What is declaring, what is initialization, what is assigning, we know detailedly. So array must have declaration and initialization or assignment of memory. That is compulsory. Okay. Array is initialized and assigned with memory. Now, what is question here? What is difference between array meta character and array constructor? Answer is array meta character can take values, and array constructor can define size for values. However, the size is not standard. We can change, but we can mention size. So technically, another difference is also there. That difference later I will tell you. Because for that, you need to learn some more topics called functions. If you know the functions topic and OOP concepts, then you will understand that difference. There is another difference. Another difference is actually here array name is equal to this, and array name is equal to new array. Whenever you use new, that means the memory is newly allocated. The memory is newly allocated. This is called dynamic memory. This is dynamic memory. This is called static memory. Dynamic memory and static memory. These you cannot understand without learning OOP concepts. That is the reason later you will detailedly learn. Small example I will tell. Static memory means once the memory is allocated, until the end of program, this memory will be used continuous. Static memory continuous. But dynamic memory means whenever you call this array, it will allocate memory newly. That means it is disconnected. Disconnected means once you finished using array, it is destroyed. Once you finished using array, the memory is destroyed. But here it is not destroyed. It is still in memory. If it is still in memory, we can use it again and again. It will be faster. But problem is, if you are not using and it is still in memory, then it is burden for memory. That is the reason both are required. Which one we need, we have to decide. Whether you want continuous memory or whether you want discrete memory. That means meta character, we can say meta character, it is continuous. Continue, okay? Continuous memory. Spelling. Continuous memory. And array constructor is discrete memory. Continuous memory and discrete memory. Discrete memory means disconnected memory. Later you will detailedly understand also. So this is one option. So array declaration is not enough. In order to store values, you need array initialization. memory initialization or memory assignment. You need that. Okay. That is the first step. So this is the first thing you have to know about array. Declaring array. How do you configure and define? So example I will show you here, where some categories is equal to array. In this we can put some values like electronics, like footwear, like this. We can store values, or you can write like this, where categories is equal to new array. Into that we can have electronics, like footwear, like this. You can define initializing values into array. This is one technique. Second point is, another important is storing values into array. How we can store values into array? So let's go to the program here. I am taking you to the project, and in this project just I am creating here where categories is equal okay. Just lost connection for a while. Let's continue. Okay, right. So here we are defining. So the categories is an array. Now how to store values into it? Actually, to store values into array, we are directly initializing the values. But not initializing the values. Generally what happens is, when you declare array, see, we have categories. Categories is an array. Then generally for array, memory is allocated like this. This is categories array. This is the memory allocated like this. In this memory, again, we will have divisions. In this memory, we will have divisions like this. In the memory, we have divisions like this. In the memory, we will have divisions like this. Now the point here is, these divisions, remember, have two important things. These divisions have index number 0, 1, 2, like this. Index numbers will be there. Not only index numbers, these have 0 and 1 and 2. We have two things like this. What are these two? So generally we have two things like this. The above, these are called, actually these are index numbers. This is called properties. These are called properties. That means many times people who are working with arrays, they think that they are working with index numbers, but not. They are working with properties. Values are stored in an array, or values are accessed from an array by using property name. And property is string type. But that property name will be same like index name. That is the reason people think it is index, but it is not index, it is property. We can prove that. See, I am storing like this now. Categories of, I am writing in double quote 0. And here I am writing electronics. I am storing electronics. Now similarly, categories of, I am writing like 1. This is footwear. I am writing like categories 2. I am writing like string. Here I said some fashion. Like this I am storing. You might have never seen anybody writing the index like this, like a string type. Nowhere in any website also you will see. Right? You will see people writing like number, but it is not number, it is string. We will prove that. We will prove that point. Observe carefully, and in that you can store any kind of value. You can store string, you can store number, you can store boolean. Suppose I stored number, I stored boolean true like this. Observe carefully now. What I am doing is, I am writing a small logic. Don't worry, what is that logic? Just see. I am writing a logic to read all properties and all values. See, for var property in categories, I will print here document.write. I am printing here. So I will print here the property. So property, and I am printing here. So here type of property means what is its data type. And I will print here. So don't worry, this logic you will learn later. Categories of property, it returns the value. Observe carefully now. I written a logic to print all the properties and their data type. You see what happens now. It will display like this. It will display like this. And see, 0, 1, 2, it is saying string type. But value is, the value type also we can print. I will temporarily print the value type also. Value type, what I will do is, here I will put in the bracket. So I will put here type of, so categories of property. The value type also it will print. Then it will come like this. Value type is string. Here value type is number. Here value type is boolean. But all the property type is string on. That means all these days people think that they are using index numbers. Actually, they are not directly using index numbers. If they are using index number, it should return number. So you see, I written here this number only. But it is saying that it is also a string. That means every array contains index and property. In the memory, data is stored in index only. But accessing, we don't access by index directly. We access by using property. And property name and index name looks same. That is the reason it is naturally people think that they are using index. Because nobody will teach you to write in double quotes. They will teach you to directly write as number. That's the reason we think that it is number. But actually it is string. Even you type number, it is string. So the question here is how the values are stored.
So first point here is, so how values are stored. Array comprises of index and property. Data is stored in the reference of memory index. In the reference of memory index. Data is accessed by using property reference. Data is accessed by using property reference. So you can use property for storing and accessing data. And very important, property name will be the same as index. But property type is string. The property type is string. It is not number. It is a string type. So syntactically, how to define? I will put a syntax. So where, suppose categories is equal to array. In that categories of 0, here we stored some electronics, and we have categories of 1. So here we are storing some 10. I can store this as a string also. That is also valid. And I defined categories of 2, and I can store some boolean like this. Even you don't define string type, by default it is string type. By default it is the string type. So values are stored with this. Temporarily, I will give this program just only for your verification. Don't worry about what is this for. We will learn now. We will discuss about that, how to use. So first point, how to store values into array. Values are stored into array with reference of property. Next important is, this is very important. So what type of value can be stored in array? What type of value can be stored in array? And here the answer is, you can store any type of value. That means you can store primitive type, you can store non-primitive type, or you can even store a function. Array can store any type of value. In array, you can store any type value, because array is allocating memory. And in memory, you can store anything. There is no limit. You can store any type of value in it. For example, see what I am doing. Here, I will write like this, where values is equal to array. In that, I have number, I have string, I have boolean, I have another array. This array contains Hyderabad. This contains Delhi, like this. And it can contain a function. This function have some functionality. That means document.write. This is a array function in array. I'm just writing function in array. You see, now array contains lot of complex things. You can store anything in array. Now, how to access with reference of property? How to access with reference of property? That means how we can access with reference of property. Now tell me how to access Delhi. Document.write. Array name is values. Values is array. So of what is the index? 0, 1, 2, 3. So that means 3. At 3, what is there? At 3, what is there? Array is there. That means array is like this. At 3, array is there. In that array, Delhi is 1. That's how we access. And you can see it is going to access in this way. That means it is going to display in this way. You can see it will get the attention. It will display. That is how we can handle anything. Anything can be there. In that array, you can have another array. Now, one more. I will put a line break. I will put a line break. How to access the function? So function, remember, function itself is printing a message, na? Then simply values. We have to call that function. Values of 4. At 4, what you have? Function. How to call function? Parenthesis. That means at 4, there is a function. Function is accessed by parenthesis. That means now it will execute this function that contains the message. That is how we have to manage. This is how we refer. We can have any complex data. Any complex data. We can access with reference of this and we can use it. So what kind of data we can store in array? You can store any kind of data. You can store primitive type, you can store non-primitive type, you can store function. But one important point is there, I will tell you. Example is this. Example is this. Here we are printing these two things, okay? But important note is, if you are defining a function in array, then it must be anonymous type. Anonymous type means that is without name. It should be anonymous type without name. Function cannot have a name because already the memory name is used for function. You see, I written function, but actually function will have a name na. But when you are writing function outside, it can have name. In array, it cannot have name. Then what is the name of function? The name of function is, it's a property name. The name of function is property name. That means if you are defining a function in array, then it must be anonymous type without name. So you can access the function using property. You can access by using property. That is one important point. So that is arrays, how we can handle. How to store value, how to access value. One more important question is, in the latest versions, they ask what is array destruction. What is array destruction? They ask what is array destruction. What is array destruction? This is important. Already yesterday I told you, string split option I told you. Array destruction it is nothing but it is a technique. It is a technique used to extract the values from array and store in various references. Extract values from array and store in various references. This is destruction. For example, see, in this example, suppose I want these values to be separately accessed. Then see what I am doing. I am creating var in square brace. I will put ID, I will put name, I will put some stock, I will put here some cities, I will put here print. I am typing like this and is equal to values. This is destructing. That means now what happens? Whatever in values at 0 is present, it will be stored in ID. Whatever is present in 1, it is in name. True, it is in stock. This is in cities. And print is a function. That means what we have to do, if I want to call print function, currently you can see it's not there anything. I will just call print as a function and you can see that it will get that and display. Right? It is very simple now. This is called destructing technique. In destructing technique, all the values that are present in the array, you can individually access them. So this is destructing. Suppose how to print cities, same. Document dot write, what is it? Cities. I'm just writing that cities and it can print those cities. We have to just print next line and all these things. This is the basic technique, right? This is called array destruction. Array destruction, that is array destruction. Example is this. This is example. So this becomes easy to access the values and work with the values. Independently, you can deal with them. Remember, array can have multiple arrays inside it, multiple functions inside it. I just kept only one function, one array. There can be so many things. Combination is very important, right? Now, here, another important, you need to know how to reading values from array. How to read values from array. There are so many techniques of reading values from array. Remember, reading value from array, printing them. This is the biggest task actually. How to read values from array? What is the first technique? You can read by using property name. That is simple. That means how do we do? Example. We can read by using property name. That means what we do. So we have categories of 0. Categories of 0, categories of 1, like that we can use it. Just I will show you one example. Suppose I am writing here var categories. Categories is an array. We have electronics, we have footwear. Okay. How to read? We can say document dot write categories of 0. It will get that and display. I can use like a property 1. It will get that and display. You can use string or anything. So that is accessing and using with reference of property. This is 1. You can read by using property name. Another important, you can use toString. toString method. What this toString method will do is, it will return all the array elements separated with comma. It will return all elements separated with comma. That means it will read all the elements and print them separated with comma. That means now what you have to do is simply categories, just categories dot to string. Categories dot to string, it is going to return separated with comma. That means all the arrays elements, I said some fashion, it is going to return all separated with comma. ToString is used for that. It is used to return. You can use ToString, so which returns all elements separated with comma. So separated with delimiter. Delimiter means separator, comma. So this is example. We can use ToString for doing it. You can also use join method. You can use join, which uses custom delimiter. Custom delimiter means your own separator. You can use join with custom delimiter. So instead of ToString, you can use join. In join, you can put your own separator. You can put your own separator, and you can see that it will print by using that separator. That means we can create our own custom separator. I put slash, then it will print with slash. You can use your own separators. So that is done by using join. That is done by using join. So we can read by property. We can read by ToString. You can read by join. Another important is you can read all the elements by using map. You can read by using map. What map will do is map. It is an iterator. It is an iterator that reads every element from array and presents in the UI. It reads every element from the array and presents in the UI. Presents in the UI. How it presents in the UI, I will show you. See, presents in the UI. How it can do? See, I have to write like this. This is categories. I'm using categories.map. Map uses a callback function. We have to use a function inside it. This callback function will read every category. That means every value from this. This function will get every value. Remember, this value you can give any name. Any name, that is just reference name. In that reference name, you can say category. That means what it will do, this function will read every value and it will store here. Now I have to print that value. How to print the value? Your wish. How to print the value? Your wish. So what I am doing here is I am printing the value like this. Document.write. I will print here a list item. In that list item, I will put an expression. Here I will print that category. I will print that category. Understood? That means now what it is doing, it is printing a list item. In that list item, it is printing category. Remember, this map is an iterator. That means first time it will print first one, second time it will print second one, third time it will print third, and it will stop. That means you can see all these are printed like this. You can print like a heading, you can print like a paragraph, you can print like a span, your wish. You can create anything. Suppose I written here heading 2. That means it creates a heading 2 style for every category and it will print. That is the purpose of map. Later we will use in complex examples, but we have to first know what they are. First, if you know what they are, then we will see how to implement them. How do we implement them? So that is the concept of map. So this is example. So you can read by using map. Map is an iterator that reads every element from array and presents in UI. So example is this. Remember, map uses a callback function. That callback function will read every category and you can present that category however you want. You can display that however you want. That is another technique. We have map. So you have so many things now. By property, by toString, by using join, by using map. Another important, you can read by using for in statement, actually which returns all properties, which will return all properties. For in is used to return all properties. That means we write like this syntactically: for where item in collection name, we have to use the collection name. That means now every item from the collection. But remember, in is not for returning item, in is for returning the property. It will read every property from the collection and return. Property means 0, 1, 2, 3, it will return. Let's see. I will write like this: for where property in categories. That means how many properties are there in the categories. It will read all the properties and print document.write. I want to print property with a break. And you can see every property, it will print like this. So in is used for printing all properties. Simply you use of, it is used for printing all values. For in is for all properties. For of is for all values. If you want properties and values, you have to implement one trick. For example, see here. So for in, you can read all the properties. So another option is example. Let me give here. This is the example. This is the example. Okay. Next, another point is you can read all values by using for of. You can use by using for of. So syntactically same. For where value of what is it? Collection. Every value you can read. So just example. So I will keep here. I will change this to off. Yeah, you can leave that name. Variable name can be anything. Just I am giving reasonably value. So I need to print the value. Then you can see it is printing all values. It is printing all values. This is example. Suppose you want to print, you can read both properties and values by using for in only. For in only you can read both properties and values. How you can do is like this. I am writing like this. For where property in collection categories. Okay. Document dot write. I am printing here in the square brace. I will print expression property. Property plus I will put BR. Now see what it is doing. It is printing all property names here. If I can get the property beside it, I am just using here. So expression categories. Categories is array of property. That means categories of 0, categories of 1, categories of 2. That means it will read value. Na? It will read both categories and values. It is going to present both categories and values. So this is important. You can handle both reading properties and values. This is example. So many techniques are there, how to read depending on situation. Another important is, so you can use find method. Find method. What is find method? Which can search and return only the value that matches your condition. That means we don't want all values. I want only value which is matching my condition. That means hundreds of values are there. I want only one. Remember, currently we are using plain array. Later we will have complex arrays. Complex array means array contains JSON type data. In that case, it will be very important. For example, see, here I am having where I am having some sales is equal to 45,000, 66,000, 62,000, 24,000 like this. 56,000, some sales are there. I want to return only the sales which is above 50,000. Above 50,000 means we can use find method. But what find method will do is, it will find out the first occurrence and return it. So it will return only one. So what find can do? It can search and return only the value that matches your condition. That means it returns single value. It returns single value. Let's see now. I am writing like this. Sales dot find. Find uses a callback function. Find uses a callback function. This function will take every value. After taking every value, it will return only the value which is greater than or equal to 50,000. Like this we can write. This is condition. That means now what it is doing is, it is reading every value one by one. It will check first value. First value it will pass here. It will verify, is it greater than 50,000? It is not. If it is not, it will ignore. It will go to second. Second one is matching. Second one is matching. Then it will print it. It will print it. Remember, very important is here, this is returning that value. That returned value must be printed. Then I will use map. Or This return value we can store in a result. Understood? That return value can be stored in a result. Now result, we will print that result. Document dot write result. It is going to print only one value, which is matching with that condition. Only one value which is matching with the condition. And first value only. First occurrence value. Suppose I am giving, so I am giving some less than or equal to 50,000. Then it will return the first one. Right? Find is used for finding the value in array which is matching your condition and return only that value. Return only that value. That is good. As of now, we have simple data, so this is good. That means this is how we have to write. Now the same thing filter also can do. There is, you can use filter method. You can use filter method, which returns all values that match the given condition. What is the difference between find and filter? You see, now I am just changing the find to filter. If I change find to filter, you see result contains all values which are less than 50,000. Suppose I want all the values which are greater than or equal to 50,000. It will return all values which are greater than or equal to 50,000. So we can return only the value that is matching with the condition. You can return all the values that are matching with the condition. For that, you have to use this technique. You have to use this technique, find and filter. Example, filter is same here. Filter is same. This is displayed here. So there are so many techniques of reading. There are so many techniques of reading. There is another technique. You can also use, for loop. You can also use for loop for reading values. But these days we don't prefer this. Looping statements we don't prefer. We prefer by using iterations or by using maps, by using find or filter. We don't prefer by using this loops. Loops little complex, risky. You see, generally loop like this. Syntactically, loop will be like this. For where I is equal to 0, I less than collection dot length. That means how many elements are there. And I plus plus, it should increment and you have to print. This is lengthy. Later I am going to teach you looping statements. In JavaScript, we will learn conditions, looping statements. Actually, this is looping statement. Later we will learn about it. But this is also used, but these days we don't prefer. We don't prefer using it because that is very complex and compile time more. So you see here, see, if I want to print those values, I can write like this. For where I is equal to starting with 0, I less than sales dot length. That means until the end of the count, how many? And after 0 is finished, I value will be increased by 1. I plus plus means I equal to I plus 1. You can write like this, I equal to I plus 1. That means after reading the 0, increase by 1. Increase by 1 means it will go to second. It will go to third, like that. Now we have to print document dot write. What is it? Sales of I. That means first time it will be 0, second time it will be 1, third time it will be 2, like that. And I will print with a break. Now you can see it is printing all of them like this. It is printing all of them like this, but this is time waste. We learned for off, we learned map, which are more faster. So these days you will not see people writing like this. Actually, this is increment. We write I plus plus. Actually, you can write I is equal to I plus 2. That means for every 2 times it will print 1. That means it will not print all of them. Right? That depends how you want to define I plus plus. That means it will print every occurrence. It will print every occurrence. That is the basic thing how it works. This is called looping. But we don't use these loops anymore, right? But you can try that. This is example how to configure the loops. The best way is iterations, maps, and find filter like things that you have seen. These are all the various techniques of reading. But reading is not just enough. We have to read and present them. These are all the techniques for reading values from array. Not reading, presenting is very important. I want to read all these values and present in a drop down. I want to display buttons. I want to display toolbar. Dynamically, we need to present. This is important. For example, see here, suppose I have categories. So where categories is equal to, here we have array, we have electronics, we have footwear, we have fashion like this. Now see what I am doing. I am using categories.map. The map is using a callback function. It is reading every category and it is printing document.write. I am printing here, see, I am printing a button. I am printing a button. In this button, I will give the text. I will give the text as category. And see, every button is side by side. Actually, every button is side by side. And you see, it will print the buttons like this. It will print the buttons in this way. That means it is going to print the button in this way. There is so much interesting presentation techniques we will see later. As of now, map is doing it. That means I will show you example. This is example presenting buttons with the map. You see, this is presenting buttons with map. See, interesting part here. Suppose I am doing here where products here array. See array dot slash public slash images slash speaker.jpg. What is it? Path. That is path. And see here, I am using another path. Dot slash public slash images slash. We have some jacket dot jpg. We are doing like this. That means we are adding dot slash public slash images slash, suppose some shoe dot jpg. Now all these are paths, and see what I am doing. Products.map, collect every path. After collecting the path, document.write. I am writing here an image, and image will have width is equal to some 100, height is equal to 100. Then image have src is equal to, dynamically it will come from path. come from path. And currently image, that means we are reading and displaying. You can present in any way. So many complications will be there. But remember here, this is
Recording in
not
progress.
document.write. I want to display this inside body. Means we already have a page. In the page, we have the body. In the body, we have a container. In that container, we need to display. That means we have a drop down. In the drop down, we need to display the category names. In an ordered list, we need to display. That means we have to learn how to dynamically create elements and add. So I will copy this here and paste. This is presenting images. We are presenting images. But very important, we have to learn how to present in existing page, not new screen. That means already we have a page. In that page, somewhere heading, paragraph, somewhere in the body, it should add. Then how to add inside the page, how to create elements inside the page. That is the biggest part. That means what I have categories. Those categories list must be displayed in a drop down. Then how to create a drop down? A table. How to create a ordered list. Dynamically we must able to create and we have to add. That is the very biggest part, important part here. So presenting array elements is very important. These are all the techniques of working and presenting with this. We will see more in-depth presenting now. We will see how to present in a drop down, how to present in a table, how to present in a container. That we will see in our next session. This is enough today because lot of things are there. You need to practice first. Okay, this is enough. Today, this is enough. Then tomorrow, we will do more complicated things. Means we will create drop downs dynamically. We will create links dynamically. We will create tables dynamically, which are very frequently asked in interviews. How to create a table dynamically. These are the things very important that we will see in tomorrow's session. Okay. This is enough. Today you practice this. Because if I explain those also today, you will be confused. You can't handle. So tomorrow we will discuss about that. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue.